Hi everybody, my name is Jaron Totten. I'm your project coordinator for Hotter Than July, coming to you from the Marvin Lee Building. This year we're celebrating 25 years of Hotter Than July. Hopefully you've enjoyed the drinks that have been made for you, and hopefully you'll tune in July 24th through the 26th with the official drink of Hotter Than July, Jack Tennessee Fire. Cheers.
Do you know that if the census is not completed, we lose up to $675 billion that provides federal funding for programs such as community development, HIV emergency relief, housing assistance, adoption assistance, EBT, assistance for transitional housing. All of these we need for our community. Make sure you head over to my2020census.gov and fill out your survey, and afterwards head over to LGBT Detroit, my home base, Facebook page. You can be entered to win $50 in Instacart gift cards. And take it from me, Erica Chantel Carter, hashtag Auntie313.
It's time to step up, prep up.
Step up, prep up.
To help keep you free from the risk of HIV.
From the makers of Truvada, there's another PrEP option, Descovy for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine that helps lower the chances of getting HIV through sex. It's not for everyone. Descovy for PrEP has not been studied in people assigned female at birth. Talk to your doctor to find out if it's right for you.
Step up for health and body.
Prep up for your one and only love, or many loves.
For kings, this queen, and you royals in between.
For my now.
Our now.
And my future.
Our future.
Step up, prep up.
Descovy is another way to prep. Descovy does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections, so it's important to use safer sex practices and get tested regularly. You must be HIV negative to take Descovy for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking it. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may check to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. The most common side effect was diarrhea. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Descovy without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about your risk of HIV, and if Descovy for PrEP is right for you.
Words are loud, but actions are louder.
Step up,
Prep up.
With Descovy for PrEP.
Get help paying for Descovy for PrEP. Learn more at stepupprepup.com.
My name is Curtis Lipscomb. I'm the Executive Director of KIC, the Agency for LGBT African Americans. Well, Kicking It on the River is our 3-hour boat ride, and I must confess it's KIC's most successful fundraising event. I have to admit, it was a project that I was hesitant to be a part of regarding personal fear of water. Got over that with a lot of help from the community, and thank God the community stepped in because the community was right. They wanted this project, and this being our 3rd year, it proves to be a great staple at Hotter Than July. What makes Kicking It on the River such a special event is you have 3 hours of solitude, celebration, inclusion, a safe space for us around in this wonderful boat on our wonderful Detroit River, looking at our beautiful cityscape. And it's a well-attended fundraiser. People really enjoy it. Great food, great music by DJ Scent, It's just a wonderful event. People look forward to it. I don't dance.
What did you enjoy most about Kicking It on the River?
I enjoy watching everyone else dance. Yeah, so I like to watch other people dance. And I love to see people, enjoy themselves with their meals, fellowshipping. One of my favorite memories is seeing my friend Darlene. She's a woman of a certain age. And to see her get down, right? To just let it all hang out, getting her life, having fun. She's my favorite memory of Kicking on the River. Though I love and adore and appreciate all that Hotter Than July brings to the community, what I am most proud of was that the community took care of one another and that the multi-day celebration caused no harm to anyone. The graduation, we graduate 18 years of Pride. Who would have thought that, right? So how wonderful to know that there will be 18-year-olds who grew up during the celebration, in 2013, being at this space, knowing in 1996, Detroit dared create such a Pride celebration within the city, within the heart of the city, something I'm very proud of. So we're graduating. Everything is elevated, everything. The programming has already started. People have already signed up, determining how they're going to participate, volunteers, people sponsoring. We're already moving forward. So I'm excited about the graduation. And I'm hoping that I have the cap and gown ready next year.
I'm Judy Lewis, and I'm with SAGE, Services and Advocacy for Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and/or Transgender Elders. And I'm the Training and Education Manager. And I go around the 4 counties, but also around the state, doing cultural competency trainings for professionals as well as for non-professionals. And I would say that I'm encountering not necessarily apathy, but a lack of engagement by my LGBT brothers and sisters.
One thing that I think needs to be a little bit more emphasis on is our history. Because we have been a part of history throughout history.
Hi, I'm an ever-evolving person, so I've had several mentors throughout my life. Starting in high school, Anthony Smith, my professor, first black female that I've met, he taught me that to be honest with myself.
Mentoring is something that we as a community should do, so we can shape the world to be a better place.
Hi, my name is Tori Esgata, and I am coming to you from Detroit, Michigan. Every year, to kick off our Hotter Than July celebration, we start with a vigil. To remember all those that have gone too soon. After that, the festivities began with our
Hi, I'm an ever-evolving person, so I've had several mentors throughout my life. Starting in high school, Anthony Smith, my professor, first Black female that I've met, he taught me that to be honest with myself.
Mentoring is something that we as a community should do so we can shape the world to be a better place.
Hi, my name is Tori Esgata, and I am coming to you from Detroit, Michigan. Every year, to kick off our Hotter Than July celebration, we start with a vigil to remember all those that have gone too soon. After that, the festivities began with our official Hotter Than July drink, and it's called the Palmer Part. You're gonna need Jack Daniel's Fire and a little Jamaican rum cream. You're gonna need some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and you're gonna need a little sugar and cinnamon to dip your glass in. You take the shaker and you fill it with ice. You add about 3 ounces of the Jack Fire. Then you fill up the rest of the shaker with the Jamaican rum cream. Shake it up as good as you can. Pour it into the glass. That should already be topped with the sugar and cinnamon rim. And then you just add the cinnamon sugar sticks on top. And cheers to you.
Do you know that if the census is not completed, we lose thousands of dollars that provide federal funding for programs such as community development, HIV emergency relief, housing assistance, adoption assistance, EBT SNAP funds, and assistance for transitional housing. I want you to make sure that you head over to the my2020census.gov website and fill out your survey. And after that, head over to the LGBT
Hello there and welcome to our official Hotter Than July, welcome to our official Hotter Than July recap. My name is Ramon, I'm your host today, and I'm joined by some wonderful panelists here. We have Walter Houston, we have our buddy right here, Jaron Totten. Of course, you know the man himself, Curtis Lipscomb and Damon Percy. So we're gonna just get into a few questions and kind of get some information from these folks about what this whole thing means to them. And a lot of these people have been here since the beginning. So we want to hear from them because they know the absolute history of Hotter Than July. So I'm excited to be here. I hope you are too. If you're tuned in, make sure you get someone else. Let them tune in with you, okay? So my first question, I'm just going to go around. 25 years. Curtis, I feel compelled to talk to you about this first because you are the visionary here. And of course, any visionary doesn't do it by themselves. You give lots of credit to a lot of other people, but just from your perspective, what does 25 years mean to you? Talk to me about that.
Hotter Than July 25th anniversary is, one, a dream come true. The one thing I'm very happy about is that Detroit residents, state of Michigan residents, our friends from across the country have remained committed to this project. It's the one opportunity where a number of people can organize around one event. And though we are a dynamic group of people, we're lesbians, we're bi people, we're gay and we're trans people, even our allies, so many people in 5 years, that has been constant. There's been great change. Some of it has been phenomenal. Some of them has been minute, but it really means that the movement moves forward, and that is always something new to look forward to every year.
Absolutely love it. Damon, how about you? What does this 25 years mean to you, young man?
Young man, indeed. God, 25 years. I've been here since the very beginning, and I've grown up in the movement. And one thing that I'm always glad about, that this has been a very professional demonstration of the community. Always professional, nothing salacious, no rumors, no money stealing, anything like that. You know, we've had politicians come, the mayor, the governor, people legitimately recognizing us. We fought for it. We had to fight for it. So it's not like it just came to us. So I think that for me, fighting, you know, for myself and for everybody in the community, now I'm at the point where I'm bringing more people in to continue that fight, which is what I want, because 25 years, you know, some things in the community don't last 25 days. So
True story.
True story. So you have to, you know, want it and do the work and make sure that you are committed to what it represents. And it's just not about you, it's a bigger picture for everything. So it just means, it means a lot to me.
How do you feel being here from the absolute beginning?
Oh, wow. So, yeah. It's like, you know, I was a kid, 20, 21.
You're only 28, right?
Yeah, I'm just 28.
Okay.
So it's like,
There
you
you
know,
go.
dog years. At 7 years, I'd be 90. But I look back, and I think that's right now why I'm doing the whole historical part of it, because I want people to know what I know and see what I saw. You know, because, you know, walking the streets, passing out flyers, you know, getting organizations to be a part of it and believe in what we were trying to do. That's the thing, we believed in it enough, so they would. So now, the whole community, you can go find people who have been a part of something at one point in 25 years, events, you know, Curtis always gave room for people to grow in the movement, you know, Hotter Than July and LGBT Detroit. So there's space for everybody, every sector of the community. So I know for me, you know, I was a club kid, I was part of a house, but I was in school, and so I was part of all of these different dynamics and brought all of that, you know, with permission, of course, to what we were trying to do. So now I've seen these people grow as well. So now I'm being him, helping to mentor, you know, people that are coming now because everything you're paying it forward because that's what you have to do. So I think that it's important for me to do that.
You mentioned something very important too, is that Curtis, you provided a lot of opportunities for a lot of people to come into the organization, grow, just kind of grow wings and fly. And a lot of people have that that thought of you that you are a mentor. You're my mentor. You're fantastic. So I think that the whole community appreciates that because you've given people so much room to grow. So we love you for. We love you. Walter, I'm going to jump over you. Talk to me about this 25 years.
25 years. Wow. The fact that this Pride event is self-sustaining after all these years, that was not our vision. Our vision was just to get together and do something different, do something that was impactful for our city and black folk in our community. You have to understand, nothing like this existed when we tried to do it. Other communities would put together events, but we still didn't find a place for ourselves to see ourselves in those spaces. And we just talked about it. Everyone, a lot of people that were visionaries with this. It started in the conversation in our organization that we all were part of called Men of Color, and we just talked about what that would look like here in Detroit. Back then, most of us were not out gay men. A lot of us were closeted. A lot of us were we were in a basement of a church talking about black, male, gay issues. That was our goal. But then we would go to other prides, you know, throughout the country, especially DC Pride. That was the only really black pride at that time. And for us to go and go again and go again, we were like, we can do this. We can do it. That was an ongoing conversation. Finally, people like Curtis, and you know, he had Kick Magazine, Men of Color, BBC, Billionaires Boy Clubs, when I say BBC, got together and talked about what that could look like. There was a lot of fear at that time. The black church, Detroit is heavy in black church.
Yes, it is.
Right, protesters showing up, straight folks coming there to fight. You know, that was the fear back then. You know, and then we were in the middle of Parma Park, which at that time there were a lot of people going there, children were going there, and the fear of all of that. We found a way to get around all of that, and it happened, and it was successful, and we weren't afraid anymore.
I appreciate that because you guys paved the way for a lot of us today who can walk boldly and proudly in our truth. So, you know, we thank you and people like Curtis and everybody because that's important to be able to walk in your truth. One of the things that I would like to kind of just pull this out a little bit and unpack it is that you guys had to start something because there was nothing for you then. There was no inclusion, if you will, in the gay pride scene. Curtis, can you talk a little bit about that for us?
So there was always something here. I don't want you to believe that we are the creators of the movement. The movement existed way before we were born. Mm-hmm. So Detroit had activity, and we knew that our big brothers and elders and sisters had already contributed. What we wanted to do was package it in a way that addressed the ability to celebrate life. Again, HIV and AIDS was the devastation that we lived in. And a lot of us were traumatized, still are traumatized, and wanted a space to take us away, even if it was for a few days. What we wanted to do, which is unique, that was different from other parts of the country, was to make this cultural activity family friendly because we were family members. We were already parents, we were already someone's children, we were neighbors, and we have friends who supported us. And so we wanted to make an event that was all inclusive. Again, and I say dynamic, and I don't mean that lightly. We wanted to make sure that the multiple parts of the movement had an opportunity to thrive. So if you're a member of the faith community,
there was a focus on that. If you wanted to have fun, sure, we can always have fun, and there's space for that. Our family, we definitely want to bring family together, right? And so to think about friends, family, faith, and fun, that has always been the four cornerstones of Hotter Than July. That has never changed. And though our partners and the planning committee may change, those four key components are to ensure that this is a welcome, all-inviting space with zero financial barrier to come in, because we know how we live and we know where we're from. We want to make sure that all have access to the various parts of what community is.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Access. That's what we need, is access. Jaron, so you are a newbie to this. Welcome. Tell us, Jaron, for you coming in new, seeing all this, what does this 25 years mean for you?
Well, my thought process takes me back to 2017 when I was first introduced to LGBT Detroit, here working on a local campaign, and being able to see, I think that was my first time interacting with an LGBT org. I spent most of my career in political organizing. I knew that LGBT orgs existed. What I didn't know is that the parties that I went to down in Atlanta was not the only part of Pride, not part of the only Pride experience. And so it was humbling for me to just being a consumer of that portion of Pride prior to coming to LGBT Detroit, to now running Hotter Than July in its many facets of what Pride is. That was humbling, one. Two, what was even more humbling was to see so many people who've been contributing to this project over the years be able to empathize with the weight of the role, and being able to still contribute 25 years later to the project. And I knew that I wasn't alone in getting this together, and so that was great. I couldn't imagine, what I can imagine is, as Walter was talking about, the fear of having protesters, people coming in to fight. I couldn't imagine being in fear of harm, physical harm, for being at Pride from outsiders. Like, of course we see different things happen at Pride. I can identify with like being ashamed of being out and being who you are. But I honor people who started this project 25 years ago when that was a reality. You walking down the street, if you walked a certain way, if you looked a certain way, you were subject to possible bodily harm.
That would be a horrible thing to live through. And while it still happens sometimes, it doesn't happen as often. So yes, we do appreciate our pioneers. Topic here, because sponsorship and partnerships in the community are very important, right? And I know that's a major part of what you do, aside from the project management from beginning to end, the team that you have and build. So can you talk to us about sponsors, those wonderful, wonderful sponsors that we do love?
Our sponsors this year have been so kind to us. We, in March, had to stop what we were doing to, one, lock ourselves in our houses, and two, figure out not just how we would do Hotter Than July, but how we could continue the work at LGBT Detroit, period. And I understand that several things happened from March to July that kind of brought us some attention from these new partners. And I'm really excited about that because it further expands our reach. Regardless as to the why, the reality is that we now have their attention. We're able to work with them beyond Hotter Than July. And so I'm happy to report that in spite of pandemics, social injustices that cause civil unrest, we were supported in greater numbers this year, my second year as the project coordinator, than we were last year. And so I think that's great, and that's really due to the kindness and the generosity of our sponsors. Yeah.
I think that is fantastic because that just lets you know the world is changing, and people do see the good work that this organization and so many others do, and they understand that the LGBTQA, they're people as well, and we deserve to be celebrated. We deserve to be treated just like anybody else in this world, right? And like you guys talked about moments ago, that's not always been the case. So now, Curtis, you have been doing this from the beginning, and so what has your relationship been like with sponsorships? Was that a struggle at the beginning for you?
The advantage that Hotter Than July had in sponsorships was that it had the history of the Kick Publishing Company to hold the base together. So we were already a nationally recognized for-profit entity that was able to ask our friends at the time to consider moving their interests from publishing to social justice work. And I say that in quotations because as new organizers of this new kind of phenomenon, we didn't necessarily understand so deeply what we were doing, but we knew that we wanted to make an impact. And so by the third year of Hotter Than July, I remember the sponsor list being so long, and that was 1998. I remember being the list so long that we had a t-shirt at the time, and the list was like in small text all the way down the back of the t-shirt. Robert Tate jokes about that all the time, that long list. But there's been a lot that's happened in 25 years. We've had recessions. We had the Great Recession in 2008. So there's been a number of things that have impacted how financial contributions and commitment dictates programming. And it also has a lot of how that happens, how you build relationships, how you keep relationships. Is the project of value to the consumer person who we believe that are interested in either selling their wares or telling their stories about what products that they're either selling or serving? And so sponsorships is the key to Hotter Than July because, as we say to everybody who invests in us, this is a free activity. We want to make sure that all expenses are covered so that no one person will be denied access because of a financial opportunity. And that has been something that has always been on the forefront. And Walter, I just want to share with you, when Walter tells the story often of being so committed to getting sponsors on board, he's taken many measures to get their attention. And I'll let Walter tell that story.
Well, that will be a very good story to tell. Walter, why don't you tell us which extreme measures you've taken to get sponsors on board?
Well,
we are curious.
Well, just like that t-shirt that he had, I went through a list of sponsors because at one point the recession did hit us, right? And I cold called those same sponsors and did not give up on it. And I tell Curtis, and Curtis knows this, he's the first one that knew it. I was catching the bus to pick up checks. Going to businesses, going to donors, going to sponsors to get checks. I even came back a couple times with cash in my pocket. $1,200, $2,000, I could be robbed, right? But I went through the donor list, sponsor list, and called, got the right person, talked to the right person to make sure that we could get the money, because they were not giving money. They even said the words. They didn't have the money, they weren't giving money, and I talked them into it. There were people who even said to my face, we stopped giving money, but since you're here, but we have to do, this is one thing that Curtis has to talk, and we need to talk about this also. This is not a event that is ran by event planners. We're not, the big parties you see those weekends, you go into the dance, they're not giving this event. It's sponsor driven. When people say, oh my God, it costs a lot of money to go to these events, those are not events that Hotter Than July is given. Those are private parties. 99% of the time, they're not even affiliated with the Pride event. That's the assumption. The $25, $30, $40, $50 that you're paying to go to these other parties is not a Hotter Than July event. From Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday especially, those events, forums, spirituality, the park, whatever, are free. To have an event where children can go bouncy castles, coloring. We paid for even their own private thing just for the children to use the restroom with. Those are paid for by sponsors, not by event planners. We only have 1 or 2 event-driven events that has since the beginning. That's the BBC, and then Kick Magazine, LGBT Detroit gave. Other than that, there was no one else ever in the history of this organization that, I think one time we had a big party for all, one big party that the bars gave, but it still was accessible financially.
It was accessible. And I'm very proud of that. If we can even, I look at Walter because this is a happy memory. We had such a great relationship with our bar owners at the time who understood who their patrons were. Again, 40% of Detroiters live in poverty. That's not unusual in major urban cities in America. And these bar owners were members of the community. They got together. They put ego aside, like many people, like the BBC people, like men of color people. They put the ego aside and said, this is how we're going to serve the movement. They got together, put the resources, and the greatest closing party was held at the Rooster Tail. For those who don't know what the Rooster Tail is, a legendary nightclub in Detroit, Michigan, where Motown acts, and Magic knows this deeply, he's a historian, where Motown acts performed. And so to have this closing party downtown Detroit along the river at one of the most notable places, and make it so that it was affordable, was phenomenal. And so yes, that was one time. It only happened once.
One time only, and that's always the biggest conversation that we have heard throughout the many years. I don't live in Detroit anymore. I'm in the Dallas area right now. I still get the phone calls and the texts, the emails, whatever, talking about what's happening. Oh, is it going to cost a lot of money? Like, no, nothing is charged. There's no money involved. People assume. I paid $40 last year to go to the event. Well, that was not a Hotter Than July event. It was not. And so we're stuck right there sometimes with people. But 25 years later, no one, the second oldest black gay event in the country, now it is the longest running.
It's the longest running, officially.
Event. Think about that.
Well, the thing I want to say for that is the way that it's been done, the way we're doing it, has brought us into spaces and places and tables that normally LGBT people wouldn't be able to get to. So when they see how we're doing and what we're doing it, we're in the White House, we're in museums, we're on forums talking about what we do. Like, oh, so tell us about this. Thursdays is a brother-to-brother lockdown. Okay. Positivity every week. I keep saying it's nothing salacious because what's presented by the world is not what we do, but we present another picture. So as, Jaron comes on and gets on the phone and works his charm and, we get all of these wonderful sponsors and they're like, oh, well, hey, why don't we do this, create this event so things build and build where it's more, it becomes legacy driven for the community. So you can say here in Detroit, this is what we did. This is what we're doing. I can go party. I can go to Atlanta and party for 3 days. And do what? Party for 3 days and spend $100 to party for 3 days. Where I can be here and be with my people and do the same thing for nothing. But learn and gain so much more than I would anywhere else.
Absolutely, and I love that. I love that perspective because it's so important. Fantastic perspective. And I think that the unfortunate thing is a lot of people have placed gay pride in a place in their minds where it's supposed to be a party. It's supposed to be, an all-night party at a club. But that's not what it's all about. It's about celebrating the truth of who you are. It's about celebrating us as people, as a subgroup of a group of people, right? It's a subgroup of a subgroup, right? And so we have to celebrate that too. It's not all about partying, right? So I appreciate what you all are doing, and that's why I love to be a part of it. So this is just fantastic. I want to shift just a little bit, if I can. Do you have something you want to add to this, Jerry?
Just before we go on a quick break, I wanted, as we were talking about celebrating, I want to celebrate Curtis for a second. You're a great leader, and
Absolutely.
you provide us with the tools to be successful. You make sure that our voices are heard. You're not a leader to you're not someone that feels like you need to have your hand in everything, but by not doing that, you give us an opportunity to excel, make our own mistakes, and learn from them. And so we have a gift for you.
Here, here. Amazing. Amazing. It's a photograph of me.
No. We knew you wanted something for your gray room, and so Brandon and I worked on it.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, open it. Yeah, yeah.
I'll hold it up for you here.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Magic. Oh, I love it. That's like what's inside your head.
That is
so
beautiful.
We thank you, we love you, and we appreciate you for the things that you do.
If I may, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. I love fine art. I love fine art photography. I love fine videography. I am surrounded by you, some of the most creative people that I know. It's easy to step back knowing that those that step up want the responsibility. It's easy to step back when there's trust already built. And it's okay to make mistakes because we've made mistakes. We're going to make mistakes, but our job is to make sure that if a mistake is made, we're here so that you don't fall through the net. We're proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. It's an I statement. I'm proud of you. Because of you, not only will we have another 25 years of Hotter Than July, I mean, that's a given. It's a given that there'll be another 25 years. We know it's going to be dynamic. We know it's going to change. And I'll be there. I'll grow up and be Robert Tate. I'll grow up and be Cornelius Wilson. I'll grow up and be Marvin Lee. And do what we can to make sure that you have all that you need. You deserve it. You deserve it. This is Courage in Space, but we talk about this all the time. We talk about leaving the legacy to people, to our people behind us, that you all got this. We talk about this all the time. And it's just, when I see it, I'm not here, but I see it, I'm so proud every time. I'm so proud of you guys. So,
Congratulations, Curtis, and we do appreciate you very much, so congratulations. So, folks, we are going to take a brief intermission. We will be right back.
Hi, my name is Tori Esgata, and I am coming to you from Detroit, Michigan. Every year, to kick off our Hotter Than July celebration, we start with a vigil to remember all those that have gone too soon. After that, the festivities begin with our official Hotter Than July drink, and it's called the Palmer Park. You're gonna need Jack Daniel's Fire and a little Jamaican rum cream. You're gonna need some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and you're gonna need a little sugar and cinnamon to dip your glass in. You take the shaker and you fill it with ice. You add about 3 ounces of the Jack Fire. Then you fill up the rest of the shaker with the Jamaican rum cream. Shake it up as good as you can. Pour it into the glass. That should already be topped with the sugar and cinnamon rim. And then you just add the cinnamon sugar sticks on top. And cheers to you.
Do you know that if the census is not completed, we lose thousands of dollars that provide federal funding for programs such as community development, HIV emergency relief, housing assistance, adoption assistance, EBT SNAP funds, and assistance for transitional housing? I want you to make sure that you head over to the my2020census.gov website and fill out your survey. And after that, head over to the lgbtdetroit.org website and you can be entered in to win $50 in Instacart gift cards.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Blake here early in the morning. Just wanted to give a shout out to Hotter Than July. I'm sorry we won't be able to make it there, but if y'all go to BBA, y'all can get 20% off on a subscription. Check it out.
Shout out to Hotter Than July for all the good stuff that y'all have done for the community and the LGBTQ. Also make sure that y'all realize that, you know, I'm still here supporting for y'all. And on behalf of BBA for supporting, being a sponsor for you guys. We wish we was there and we sorry we can't make it. So I just want to let you guys know, like, hey, we got a special little thing though for you. So since we can't make it this year, BBA is giving out a code. You see this code below right here? See this code? Quarantine member. You get 25% off for a monthly subscription. Just type this code in below. Quarantine member for 25% off. You get to watch the videos you ain't been able to watch or get a chance to watch due to the quarantine. You can watch it on there. And all I gotta say is, you know, I wish we was there and I'm sorry we're not there. And hey, maybe next year it can be there and we can turn up even more than ever. Come see your boy Mini Killer and the other models. You know how we do. So until then, keep your hands clean, wear a mask, and I'll see y'all on the flip side.
Well, the role that I played in Hotter Than July this year was I came on board as the coordinator for the annual gathering. I had kind of put my foot in the mouth to be a part of one or two other things, but I realized after I got involved that that one activity was enough. Some of the notable speakers that were at the annual gathering this year was we had Sharon Letman Hicks, who is the executive director of the National Black Justice Coalition out of Washington, D.C., which is a major political advocacy group, I imagine. We had Ron Turner. Ron Turner is an African-American gay man that founded Community Health Awareness Group here in the city of Detroit. We had Ms. Carmarion. Carmarion is a transgender person who had transferred from Texas here to Detroit. So we had a broad cross-section of individuals on the panel. And I think that went over really well. What did I enjoy most during the annual gathering? Just seeing the diverse of people that came together. You know, straight, gay, in the African-American community. Because there were a number of individuals that I asked to participate that were not a part of our community. The keynote, not the keynote, but the moderator for the panel discussion was a straight ally. Sharon Letman Hicks, who was key on the panel, is a straight ally. Several of the volunteers that worked with making sure that people knew where the conference rooms were, collected surveys, straight allies. They did not have issues, you know, and everybody worked well together. And I just think, and seeing that broad, diverse group of people, from those that you knew that were not as economically well off to those that you know were doing really well, economically speaking, all in the same room together.
How did you feel after the annual gathering was over?
Relieved.
Repeat that. Repeat the question, or repeat the question.
How did I feel after the annual gathering was over? It was relief, elation, thankful, very, very, very humble, but a sense of relief, because this is my first year coming back and participating with the Hotter Than July activities after being away several years away from these activities, that is. And for it to come off as successful as it did was very, very, very humbling, you know. Some of my hopes and expectations for Hotter Than July 2013 is to fine tune what happened this year. If we can pull off 2013 as half as well as
All right, folks, we are back for our second half of the Hotter Than July. Excuse me, I always do that. The Hotter Than July, recap. Thank you. I cannot ever think of that. I apologize. It is late on a Sunday, and I am old and tired. But we are back for the Hotter Than July recap, and we have a new set of panelists right now. My name is Ramon. I am your host. And to my left here, we have Anthony Martinez. We have Rihanna Chester Bay. We have Mr. What's your name again? We have Jared Totten, and we have Chris Sutton. Jared is in for Akil Alvin, who could not be with us today, but he will be speaking on Akil's behalf. So we're going to just get into it. The first thing I really want to jump into, folks, because we did something fantastic this year, something that I don't think I've ever seen, but we put together a virtual Pride. Could you guys please tell me about that? So I'm just going to start right here to my left with Anthony. Tell me about that. What was that experience like for you?
So I started last year volunteering as just pretty much any type of help for Hotter Than July. Jaron and I were pretty new. He brought me on board, and I remember just doing simple graphics for sponsors, adding logos, and I've never been to a Hotter Than July before. I remember going to some of the first events that we did on Tuesday, and I'm usually used to a Pride that just consists of partying and that's all I've ever seen. So a whole week of programming was already something completely different. Also something that I was in complete support of because unlike other prides, they weren't as notable, I guess. Respectable as some other things. So Hotter Than July, when it came to the picnic, obviously that's what everybody thinks of when they think of Hotter Than July. So when we started thinking about taking this on a virtual platform, what would the picnic even look like, let alone just the event programming. Thanks to platforms like Zoom, where we started doing things on the LGBT Detroit side of things, really developing programming based around virtual social distancing and putting our heads together and utilizing resources that we've had in the community already, such as Chris, who came through and put a whole production line to this. I thought that I would be the only one in this, starting this off, and the amount of production, since my background is in film and video production, you know, it's not always as simple as turning on a switch and everything works perfectly. So having these resources, seeing the community really come together in a time like COVID, and seeing how we can push through and celebrate our 25th anniversary. And it was just astonishing, really, to see everybody come together right now.
So I'll pass it to you anyway, but from your perspective, what was this like being a part of this? First of all, it is the 25th year, as you mentioned, and this commemorates the first virtual Pride. So what was that like for you?
For me, let's see. So I was a part of the production team, but I'm doing still photography, so it's a little different for me. So it feels somewhat the same for me because I have often done still photography for Hotter Than July. But the difference, you know, it was a difference. Like this year we couldn't gather the same way, we couldn't have the same amount of people, but I felt like the energy was still there, right? Like I feel like there's still an intention about us having the space to gather and having the space to celebrate our identities and all their intersections. So 25 years, I mean, I've been coming to Hotter Than July for 10 years. Wait, 10 years? Since 2005. So 15 years. Whoa. So I know that's nothing to the people who've been here for 25 years. But, so yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like the energy was still there. And I'm just grateful to have been a part of a team, to work with Chris. I've worked with Chris before. And so I think we make a good team. And we have, you know, we work together to figure out composition and the eye and angles and things like that. And who should be placed where. And, you know, making sure I'm not in his, you know, angle and in front of his camera, and then still being able to get the shot.
I love that. I love that. And I love you, by the way. I want to make sure you do. I love you so much. You're awesome, and you did a great job as well. So what about over to you, Mr. Sutton? We love you. You're fantastic. You are very talented. We've worked together on other projects. Just keep coming.
More and more, yeah.
More and more. You're amazing, awesome, all that good stuff. What was this like for you? This is kind of your world. This is like your wheelhouse, right? This is where you live. This is where you exist. So being that that's the case for you, what was this any different for you?
Kind of bouncing off what Anthony shared earlier. Doing a virtual Pride is something on a whole nother level, you know. Most of the work that I've done has been more so revolving around, you know, documenting events within our community and then being able to go back in post-production and make corrections right off that. But, you know, when you're doing a live stream, everything is live. You know, you don't have a lot of room to rethink things. But I've always shared this, you know, especially between me and Rihanna, because, you know, she was one of the first people I met, you know, walking into this space, you know, during the whole Kick era, the 41 Boroughs era, you know. And
Good days.
And, you know, like her passion for photography, her passion for the arts, her passion for, you know, not only capturing our community, but like honoring our community through art was so inspirational to me. And I've always said this, you know, like my passion is driven by, documenting our stories. I feel like our history, past, present, and future is like so important. There's so many things, like when I talk to, Curtis or, so many people who have been out here doing the work for decades, I hear these stories and I'm like, oh, I wish I was there. And one way that you could kind of be a part of those moments is by seeing them visually or hearing them, and I always encourage folks, like, now, especially in the age of social media where everybody has smartphones and everything else, document these moments so we can control our narrative and our stories. You don't want anyone else jumping in and saying like, this is what we, think it is. No, like we should be telling our stories. And this is a part of that, so, yeah.
I absolutely love what you said about controlling our narrative. That's a very important part of being who we are. Control the narrative. We can combat what people think or people hear or the rumors. We can just put it right out there like we're doing here. So that's a very powerful statement. I love that. Thank you so much. Jaren, talk to us about this whole virtual situation. Now, when you did your first year, it was a regular Hotter Than July. Fantastic Hotter Than July, by the way. Your first year was fantastic as well. You did a good job. I have to take my hat off to you as well. Everybody's doing a good job here. What was this one like for you? Because we didn't see this coming. We did not see this coming at all.
So first, the idea of building a virtual pride, like I had to sell it to myself first. I wasn't after having after being at Hotter Than July as a guest in 2018, and then being the project coordinator for Hotter Than July in 2019, I wasn't ready to let go of that experience. And so I think there was one point I was trying to do what I could to at least save the Palmer Park picnic. And I think that was before things got really, really bad as far as the pandemic was concerned. And so that was the first part, selling it to myself. And then, once I came to terms with the idea, I was able to sell it to our sponsors and partners who thought it was an amazing idea. We've seen some programming go virtual, but a multi-day virtual Pride event has not been seen by any other Pride or
Unheard of.
Unheard of.
Fantastic.
So that's another milestone in our history, and I'm really proud of it. I'm also really thankful and happy to have such a great team of people working with me. It really takes a lot of the anxiety and stress away from me. I know last year people were getting to know me. I was getting to know them, and so I had an opportunity to work with Akil, and Akil did an amazing job on the video last year. He was a little late getting it to me, and I'm freaking out. And Curtis says, real casual, "Oh, it'll be here. Akil's fine." And so I'm freaking out. But when I got the video, it was great. It was amazing. It really showcased what the people were experiencing at Palmer Park for Hotter Than July. I got a chance to work with Chris during the Sex Hooking Up in the Apps tour. This was a 5-day tour across the state of Michigan that educated Michiganders on the updated HIV criminalization law. And Chris documented the whole tour, all 5 days. And so he was taking pictures, he was taking video, and you never really knew which one he was doing, in the moment. And again, late, getting it to me. I'm freaking out. But when I got it, I was like, I can't even be mad at you anymore, because it was a great video. So when we had to go virtual, and we brought Akil and Chris on the team, I knew that we would be able to produce something memorable. I knew that we would be able to produce quality content. I wasn't as concerned. And then, last year, Anthony came on with us just as a volunteer. And as a volunteer, he did every single graphic for Hotter Than July last year. And every single one. And so I was glad to be able to have him come on full time, because I felt like, I had. Oh, I forgot to mention this. He was a volunteer, but he contributed so much so that I had to go away to a conference for a week, 2 weeks before Hotter Than July. He stepped in and, sat in my role for that week. Any questions people had, sponsors were calling, vendors were calling, he took care of it. And so that was a really nice thing that he did. And now to have him on staff full time just really adds, when it comes time for Hotter Than July, he already knows what to do. And so, again, really, taking away anxiety and stress off of my plate. I'm glad to be surrounded. Even Rihanna, seeing some of her work throughout the history of the company, it's amazing to have such competent people, and people willing to do the work around you. It just makes it all worthwhile.
Makes it so easy, right? It's fantastic. So, Akil, in your absence, we send our love to you. Thank you so much, Anthony, for all your hard work. We love you, Rihanna. We love you as well. Chris, Jaron. That's all the time we have for today. I'm your host, Ramon. I'm going to yield over to Jaron.
So we're coming to the close of another Hotter Than July, the 25-year anniversary of Hotter Than July. It's been virtual. I hope each and every one of you have enjoyed what you've seen. Don't look for this kind of experience to go away. Even when we do get together in person, I think that this way of being able to showcase what we do here in Detroit to the world is important. I want to thank our sponsors. LGBT Detroit, of course. We had a last-minute sponsor that came in at $10,000, being our largest sponsor for this year's Hotter Than July, and that was CN Railroad. And they came through with that on Tuesday. And so we were not able to get them listed, but we appreciate them so much. Our other sponsors are Community Health Awareness Group, Dove, Jack Daniels, Jacked, Between the Lines, Ford Fund, Quicken Loans, Vive Healthcare, Gilead Sciences, Outpost Magazine, Swerve Magazine, United Shore, Black Bear Brotherhood, Black Boy Addictions, Campbell Ewald, Centerlink, Detroit Historical Society, For Our Future Action Fund, Ford Globe, Ford Volunteer Corps, GM Plus, Human Rights Campaign, Michigan Public Health Institute, One Church Detroit, Oxford Bank, Sage Metro Detroit, 2 James Distillery, and Unified HIV Health and Beyond. Signing off for 25 years of Hotter Than July. Thank you so much.
How hot is it? Hotter than July!
Bye, everybody.
We did 2012, I'll be happy. The primary thing is to fine tune our focus, okay? And knowing what our theme is, getting with our volunteers in advance, our coordinating volunteers, getting those workshops together is going to be key in making sure that that's where that focus is.
Someday, hopefully soon, real life will return. Until then, Flagstar Bank is doing everything we can to assure you that we're here to provide the personalized solutions you need and keep you connected to your money. That's the human interest rate in action. And it's why Go Banking Rates ranked Flagstar one of the 10 best national banks. Flagstar Bank, the power of the human interest rate. Visit flagstar.com/human.
I'm here to speak to you in our community about the importance of encouraging family members and friends to complete their census. This is very important to our community and our future. Make sure you head over to my2020census.gov and fill out your survey. And after, head over to LGBT Detroit Facebook page. You can be entered to win a $50 Instant Card gift cards. Thank you.
This is more than a place of work. It's a rallying cry, a belief in something greater. A drive to improve the world and the way we interact with it, fueled by a deep sense of purpose. A mission to give more than we take. This is more than a job, it's a promise. A promise to seek out the exceptional and empower them, to help them grow and develop their passions, to give them opportunities and chances they will find nowhere else. This is about more than mortgages. This is a family of nearly 100 companies, ranging from sneakers and sports to film and software, all backed by the most talented sales, technology, and creative visionaries we can find. This is about taking a side project from concept to creation in under a year. This is about innovation and making sure that the best idea wins, no matter its origin. This is about more than profit. This is about the future and creating it instead of waiting for it. We rise together. Rise with us.
We are unified, HIV Health and Beyond.
With an array of services from prevention and care to community outreach, Unified continues to collaborate and engage with our communities to help individuals live a better quality of life and ending the HIV epidemic.
Serving 10 Southeast Michigan counties, Unified continues its fight against HIV and the stigma associated with it. We are committed to providing innovating services to improve the health equity and outcomes for those impacted with HIV.
Through community partnerships and agency programming, Unified serves as an essential service hub with a referral system in place that supports consumers in accessing PrEP, housing services, medical and non-medical care, and other important health-related services. For more information, please visit miunified.org, or for questions and help finding an HIV/STD testing site near you, please contact the Michigan HIV/STD hotline at 800-872-2437.
We
are Unified, HIV Health and Beyond.
Bring it in the mail, Curtis.
Man, why should I even fill out the census? Is it just how many people that they count?
Excuse me, Curtis, did I just hear you say the census just counts people? Do you know how many programs that benefit our community? I'm just reading right now myself. Public health care, community development, HIV emergency relief, housing assistance, adoption assistance, EBT, and transitional housing.
But how does my count help? And how much money are you talking about anyway?
Curtis, we're talking about $675 billion.
$675 billion?
Billion.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. How can I get involved?
Well, it says here to go to my2020census.gov to fill out, your survey. And afterwards to head over to lgbtdetroit.org Facebook page, where you can be entered to win $50 in Instacart gift cards. So why not?
There are a number of people who have major concerns about privacy. But do you know that Google knows more about you than the census? Make sure you head over to my2020census.gov and fill out your survey. And afterwards, head over to lgbtdetroit.org where you can enter to win $50 in an Instacart gift card.
My name is Alex. I'm a local Detroit bartender, and I'm here making a drink for Hotter Than July with the Jack Daniel's Fire. We're gonna start with the glass, fill it up about 3/4 way with ice. You're gonna do a 6 count of Jack Daniel's, a 1 count of Grenadine, a 1 count of Verner's, and a 2 count of apple cider, topped with 3 cherries, and you have the Michigan cherry.
More than 300,000 adults in Michigan identify as gay or transgender. When we all get out and vote, we have a significant say in us and our values. See you this November.
Hey everyone, this is Raquel Tramiel with the Love Her Collective. So I'm coming to you today to talk to you.
We're a group of researchers and community activists who are working together to address and identify the needs of transgender women of color in
the Metro Detroit area. This partnership between U of M and Trans Sisters of Color Project developed over a 1.5 years ago.
Series of focus groups in order to document and identify community needs and strengths. Now we're doing a survey and developing a group program.
Follow us on Facebook to learn more and get involved.
Hello, my name is Vance. I'm here in Detroit's newest bartender, and I'm here to celebrate Hotter Than July. I created a drink called July Punch, and with July Punch come with Jack Daniel's Fire, 8 counts, and we use apple cider, sour pucker, and lime soda. and you fill it all the way to the top because we always love a mason jar. And you have a good time and enjoy for Hotter Than July.
Men of color that love men of color, we have much more work to do.
Every day that I exist, building relationships with Wendell, with others, now that we're participating in polyamory, is just the bond that we build within that relationship gets stronger.
In BDSM, it's not all about just physical fucking. You got fisting, flogging, all the things. So you gotta discuss all that. Like what's okay, what's not okay.
These groups that have started themselves, LGBT Detroit even from back in the day, did not wait for permission. They just decided, oh, you won't make room for me? I'll make room for my own self. I'll create my own thing. You know, you don't like how I decide I want to have sex? I'll create my own space for have sex how I want to have sex. You don't like my size? I'll create my own space for my size to be celebrated and affirmed. And I think that that's where everybody needs to be. Stop looking for anybody else to affirm and validate you. Validate and affirm your own self. And I think the brothers who have been part of this experience have embraced that for their lives. And that's exciting for the future.
And I need your help to build a safe, brave space right here in Detroit, Michigan.
Another brother to brother lockdown. Happy quarantine Thursday.
It's fucking delayed. Like it's always delayed. There's always.
Humor, my love, maturity, all the things that this committee speaks of.